Hello, my name is Shadral Ahmed. I'm the examiner today. My exam ID is 051 00412025. Could you tell me name, please?
My name is MD Alamin.
Okay, Alamin. Your ID, please.
34502123.
Okay, all right. The exam is conducted today, Sunday, the 25th of May, 2025. And the exam center is Arif Academy. So let us begin. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
So, Alamin, let's talk about weather. What is your favorite kind of weather?
Well, the weather I like most is cool and breezy during especially the late autumn because the air is fresh, the skies are clean. It's the perfect weather to go out and hang with the friends. That's why I love it.
Okay. Does the weather affect your mood?
Absolutely does because if the weather is rainy or cloudy at the time the my mood or my mind is becoming lethargic or bored. If the weather is like gloomy, that's also a big problem for me because I cannot enjoy the much. If the weather is sunny, that's a perfect weather for me to hang out or do my work and give me a lot of motivation or make me more productive.
All right. Okay. Would you like to do on a rainy day?
In the rainy on the rainy day I love to do few things, especially I love to stay indoors because I can do my indoors activities like making cup of tea or reading books or watching television. These are the activities I love to do. Also the sound of rain droplets is make me so much soothing or so much calm, and this kind of thing I love in the rainy days.
Lovely, lovely. I can literally feel that. Let's talk about shopping. Do you enjoy shopping?
I love it. Absolutely. Because as a person, I all the time love to purchase books or clothing in my free time. If it depends on my mood, if as I'm a person of as I'm a big fan of reading books, pretty often I go to the library to buy my books. On the other hand, if I talk about my clothing, if I'm free, I can go for my any shopping mall to purchase my clothing, all the things with my friends or alone. It depends on my minds and moods what I should do.
All right, okay. Do you prefer shopping alone or with others?
I would say that both. If I want to talk about alone, if mostly I love to shopping alone. I can take my time, make my decision pretty well on the. However, if it is buying the clothings or the things at the time, I try to select or talk with my friends to please go with me to choose my dress. I have a problem of picking color which will be perfect for me. That's why I take my friend. That's why sometimes I take my friend to take go with me and to choose my exact dresses.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about reading. What kind of books do you like to read?
I'm a bookish person. I love to read motivational books because it encourages me all the time to stay focused, calm. That's why I love motivational books. Before in any kind of task, I love to read. I like to read different kinds of books, especially motivational books. That's keep me motivated and encourage me to focus more.
Do you prefer reading printed books or digital ones?
I personally prefer printed books as I can physically touch and get smelling of that book. That's why I really enjoy the reading printed books. On the other hand, if I talk about the online digital book or online made book, while I'm traveling at the time, it's more convenient to read the online book. That's why at the time I often read online book. Most of the time I prefer printed books.
Have your reading preferences changed since you were younger?
Absolutely, they have. Because in the past, I used to read adventures or fictional books. Nowadays, I love to read motivational book, as I earlier mentioned. So I would say that yes, it was changed. It is changed very much because of my timing. That's why I'm very much enjoying reading motivational books.
All right, okay. That is the end of section one, I mean, part one. We are moving to part two. As you know, the rule is you have to speak. You'll be provided 1 minute for preparation time. You can make the notes if you want, and you'll be allowed for 2 minutes to speak. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Here is your cue card. Here is your pen. And your time starts now. All right. Your time is up. You can speak now.
Well, a time when I helped one of my friends, Zakaria, was during the final year of our studies. As you know that there was a course, Introduction to Linguistic, which is a bit difficult for all students. I saw him; he was disappointed for his course and also overwhelmed that. And he came to me, talked about that, and I set a meeting with him to discuss. Since I have completed the course very well with having a great mark, that's why I knew what to do, what not to do. And for that reason, I started to guide him step by step. Before that I told him what you're doing now, because if I'm not knowing his problem where he's doing mistake, then I cannot solve the problem. Then I heard him carefully and where he's making mistake, and I taught few lessons according to that course, and he did really well. Then I also motivate him saying that if you properly learn this course, then it will make your future very bright, because this course you can learn how to pronounce the word, sound, all the things there. Then he worked hard and finally he got result. He passed his exam and cleared his course very well. The reason I helped him was that I saw him, he was struggling and doing hard work but couldn't get result. But the reason I feel that I should do it, I can help him, because as I have done it, so he also do it. Just he need a direction and motivation. That's I give it. Also, the most important thing is myself. I love to help a student. I love to help a student, especially it's one kind of my natural instinct. That's pretty often I'm doing from my childhood. Still, I am doing that. If I talk about the feeling after having that, actually, after having his result, I felt incredibly satisfied. He not only passed his examination with a great mark, but also he got high mark in the class, and teacher was appreciated his job. That's the thing. If I talk about it reminds me all the time. A small kind of task all the
Okay.
time helps the
I
student
can
to give this
understand.
thing.
We are moving to section 3 now. The section 3, it will be a discussion session. And let us begin. Let's talk about helping others. Why do people help others?
I would say there are a few exact reasons for helping others. If I want to talk firstly, some people are guided by sympathy or empathy by this the thing. When they see people are challenging, people are facing problem, they cannot quiet themselves or cannot keep calm one place without helping. At that time they're jumping and helping the people. On the other hand, if I talk about, there are few types of people, they are encouraged, they're influenced by the social issues or religious perspective, or sometimes they can contribute for the society. These are the things that people love to help each other. Therefore, this is the reason they are motivated. From that, they gain motivation. They help them.
All right. Do you think people are less willing to help others nowadays compared to the past?
I would say that as in we are living the modern world and modern society, and nowadays people are becoming so much fast living for a fast-paced life. They don't have enough time to helping other. This is the reason now they select or they are choosing the alternative way. They try to help other through online or social media. This is a common trend. In the past, if I talk about, people are used to help physically by going there, what's physically talking, this kind of thing. This I believe that from the in the past, from now it has changed quite very dramatically, very importantly. So I would say that absolutely it has changed from now.
Okay. How can children be taught to help others?
It's very important for children to be taught how to help these people, how to help community society. I would say that there are few rules should be played by parents and teacher. If I talk about the parents' perspective, then I would say that they can help the children to actively participate in community service or teamworking. Then they will learn what they should do, and they will learn what's their responsibility. If I talk about the perspective of teacher can guide them how should they act in the social community service. Then these children will learn very well, and in the future, in the next future, they will be successful and they will actively participate in helping others.
All right. Let's talk about volunteering. What are the benefits of volunteering?
Well, there are a few advantages of doing voluntary job. If I talk, the volunteers have both personal and social experience skills as well, social part as well. If I talk about personal experience in that, if the any person are have joining the voluntary activities, they can develop their community communication skill, problem solving skill, and organization skill. This is a great opportunity. On the other hand, if I talk about the social perspective, then it is also great that people can participate in their community service, community activities. Then they will improve their communication skill. Also, they can help the know the experience of the real world also.
Okay. Should volunteering be compulsory part of education?
Absolutely, absolutely, it does. They because if the students are learning through voluntary activities, that will be a great way of learning because it's mandatory to do that. If it is compulsory in the education sector, that will help them and they will be more carefully doing this kind of thing. If it is not in compulsory in the education sector, that doesn't work much. They don't think that if I can do, whether I can do or not, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. They're not being serious for that.
Serious for that, yeah.
All right. Agreed. Okay. What kind of voluntary work is popular in your country?
In my country, there are few activities of volunteers so much prominent. If I talk about the blood donation campaign, which is so much well known and well organized in our country, I see all around. If I go here and there in our country, I can see there are a lot. There are people are campaigning about it. It's helped them to people. It's helped the people knowing the exactly what's the benefit of donating bloods, what they will have. That this is the thing. All if it on the in addition, if I talk about the others, there are so many of social organization. If I want to mention one of these unprivileged students are teaching by few students or the organization. This is a great volunteer activities. I feel that so these kind of activities are we can see around our country.
That's the end of the exam today, or the mock exam. We'll provide you the feedback shortly, and we'll provide you the result by the next 24 hours. Okay, Alame, it was a nice session with you.
Thank
I'm
you.
really happy. I had very few candidates like you. So, as I said earlier, let me give you the feedback. First of all, before I come to the section wise, I want to, in broader way, I want to say you have a repeated sentence problem, repeating sentence. Well, it is very common. When common in talking, that's fine. But when you're going for an interview, for example, science interview, is international English language testing system requires. So if you go any other interview, you should follow that you should not repeat the common word. First of all, the well is a common word. Then if you say once, it's fine. But you're repeating quite often, followed by absolutely. Okay, I've seen in most of the part. So you should ignore because this is not a big issue, but you are a candidate of band 8. What is the target score?
It's
I could guess it. So it's quite close to it. So that's why I'm saying that when you are achieving a higher level of band score, so the smallest mistakes will be counted. So now the stage is you have to cut down your mistakes. Okay.
okay, sir.
Now coming to the section wise. In part one, very good. I didn't say anything. In part one, I just found certain repeat sentence. I used to. We are telling repeating. You have to just cautious. You have to be cautious in repeating sentence. You should not say it twice. Or if you sentence, say it once. Okay. Try to bring some variation. Okay.
Okay.
Variations can be very simple. Like absolutely, you can use certainly or eventually is the sort of variation. Since meaning's the same, but the examiner sounds good. Okay. Followed by in part one, your your answer was more than enough. I must say that's enough. You can, but at the end period, when you're talking about reading section, the third section we are going. I mean, in part one, the third topic. So you're being lengthy and you're making also little small mistakes regarding grammar and anything. That is not surprising. Very less to like recognize. But what happens if you talk more? There is a risk of getting marked more, and there's a thing risk of getting mistakes. So that's not required in one. In part one, the one or two sentence, three sentences is good. In certain stage, you have to give an explanation. That's good. But the more required in part three, that's also you covered. But in part one, that wasn't required that much. But you've spoken well. I'm happy. Now moving to the part two. In part two, you have get a good mark in part two compared to quite a lot of students. Till far, I took the interview because most of the students make a mistake which you didn't. That is, you're talking about this. You're describing a situation you helped your friend in your college or in your university life of teaching him. It's a past event, and you are used perfectly the past tense of most of the word. If I ignore certain small words, that is not. But that is the important point. You could figure it out. But at the same time, I can find that you have a good marks in pronunciation, like you have a good pronunciation, but you make mistakes in slightly mistakes in grammar. That is noticeable, very limited. But you should use more advanced vocabulary, lexical resource. If you use more advanced vocabulary, your points will grow, and you're using overall a moderate level, even more than a moderate level. But if you're looking for a band 8 score, so you need to have a more advanced vocabulary. And now followed by three, the part three section. In part three section, it was enough you're speaking, but at the end of your period, when you're talking about, I think when you're in the beginning, every section I found in the beginning section, you don't make mistakes and you speak well without cautious and everything. But once a topic goes by and another one, then you become a little bit reluctant and you make silly mistakes. In part two also, in part two, in the first 1 minute, you were very good. And the last 1 minute, the last 30 seconds, you already completed 2 minutes, more than 2 minutes. You're supposed to finish it. You're not finishing it. So I just have to make, you have to, in this section, you have to be cautious why they have given you 2 minutes. There should be a section of introduction, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute in description or more than 1 minute, and last 10 seconds for a conclusion. You should have a conclusion. I couldn't give you the conclusion chance because you have been explaining for a long time, more than 2 minutes. That's why I have to end up disruptly. But this should be ending very smoothly by your own. You should have to have a realize your time has been coming close. You have to end the closing. Okay, that is your call. Anyway, that was in part two, and in part three and the end period, you make a little bit mistakes. Otherwise, your exam was good. I'm happy about that. We had certainly in part three section, I found certain coherence problem. Coherence, like to understand the question and answering, and this can be you can answer, but you just mismatch the point from starting from one point, moving to another point, and the coherence will be a structure of mix, like sentence connecting one another. To give you a feedback, or I can say a suggestion, I can say technical, I can say that whenever I ask a question, you can repeat the question by your own words, realizing that realizing the examiner that you are understood the question and you're going to answer the answer in this way. For example, what are the benefits of volunteering? Oh, the benefits, right? The voluntary benefits are so much benefits we have. This sort of repeating the question in your own terms. This can help you in fill up the coherence. You won't miss a point or mismatch a point. Point one, you are saying a certain point and moving to the other point without noticing. And I have to look and where you're going, what you're talking. Okay. This certainly happened in volunteering section in the last question. Till then, you were very good. Okay, so it's your weakness probably. In starting, you're very good. At the end, you just made a little bit reluctant or something. Okay, that's for all for feedback, and I'm happy to give you a score, and we'll provide the score by tomorrow. Okay, and having scrutinizing your recording, we'll check the recording. And this way, we used to give the feedback for the students instantly, a certain feedback, followed by the next day, we provide the result along with the written feedback. So whoever registered with Arif Academy can experience this exam mock. So stay with us, stay with Arif Academy. Thank you.